Hey everybody, here it's Andrew Hasman. Again, thanks for watching the show, and we really appreciate all our subscribers that do watch and love the comments. So today's topic is, well, the market and what our price is going to do this year. We have a lot of clients that are telling us, Andrew, we're going to wait until spring, until prices improve. We're going to put off our plans to sell until the market turns around and gets better. Many of these clients are in situations where they, kind of really need to move in the next year because they've outgrown their home. They're just, their current home, which they've been in for 4, 5, 6, 10 years, just isn't working. And so we totally get it. It's, no one really, feels good about selling when the market's down or when there's just not a lot of sales activity in the marketplace. But that being said, there is always opportunity in any market. And right now, and I've sort of been saying this for quite some time, one of the best buyer's markets we've seen in decades, probably 20 years. Not a lot of buyers, probably sitting on the market. There's great selection out there. So if you're thinking of selling and really discouraged about market conditions and maybe your home's going to sit on the market for quite some time, yada yada, I'm going to say this, that in any market your home is saleable, and yes, it does come down to price, but also how the home presents. You want to make sure you position it correctly relative to the competition that's on the market, and you're going to sell for less. There's no question. Prices are down 7 to 10% in the last 12 months, maybe more depending on the type of property that you're selling. What's going on in your specific market is probably very different than what's going on in the general market that you hear in the news media. You'll turn on the TV, listen to the news, or you'll read something on Instagram or on Facebook or whatever. Many realtors giving their reports of what's going on in the market and the media, and they're saying average sales were down X percent, prices were down 4% last year. But again, that might be across the general region, but what's going on in your neighborhood? Where we live in Kerrisdale, or out at UBC, or downtown condo, or East Vancouver Main Street corridor, it varies by neighborhood. So you really want to get a handle on what's going on in your neighborhood. And let's say where you live, prices have dropped 10% from the peak in 2023 or 2022. So if you owned a home that was maybe worth $2 million, maybe it's worth 1.85 today, give or take. Maybe the drop isn't that much, but prices have definitely come down. And so you're putting your plans on hold until the market's going to change and turn around again. And I think that with immigration levels basically, dropped almost to zero in Canada this year, the government's really turned the tap off on immigration. We have no foreign buyer. There's a lot of economic uncertainty. Interest rates have already hit their bottom, maybe even going to start to trend up the long-term rate in the next year. That I think we're in for a pretty stagnant market going forward for the next 18 to 24 months. Yes, activity might pick up, absolutely, but I don't think there's going to be any upward pressure on price. So if you're thinking of selling and really just kind of putting your life on hold, plans on hold, but at the same time, kids are growing up, you need more space, you need a bigger yard, or whatever the reason is, you might be waiting quite a long time. So you have to look at the current market and say, hey, is there any opportunity in the market right now that exists where if we were to sell and maybe sell for 10 or 15% below the peak, maybe that's okay, because what we're going to buy in the same general area maybe has also dropped in value. Think about it. Those $3.5 million homes have dropped in more real dollars than your existing home that might be worth 1.9. So the gap between your home and moving up to the next home may have actually dropped in real dollar value. So making that potentially an opportunity for you. So maybe the gap between those two properties, the one that you own and the one that you want to buy, maybe the gap is narrowed by $150,000, $200,000. So that's $150,000 or $200,000 less in mortgage that you might be carrying, or less in down payment that you might need to put down. So really look at the total picture, and maybe it's a great opportunity now to sell, and yes, sell for less, but also buy for less and take advantage of that, because interest rates are fairly stable. So if you lock in something now, chances are rates are going to be what they are in 2 or 3 months. They're not going up, probably not going down much. But you're taking advantage of this market where the more expensive properties have dropped in real value, allowing you to narrow the gap and maybe secure your next home with a slightly smaller mortgage than what it would have been, 1 or 2 or 3 years ago. You know, it's one of these things, as your family grows and or your needs change, how long do you put things on hold for? And so there's opportunity in every market. What we see right now, tremendous opportunity while the market's quiet. You've got time for your due diligence. You've got time to shop around. You can negotiate. So yes, you're going to sell for less, but you're also going to buy for less as well, so that's where we think the opportunity is. Hey, it's Andrew Hasman from REMAX. Reach out to us anytime. Always happy to provide great answers to your questions and some great market insight. Look forward to talking to you soon.